Thank you, Josh. The first thing that I'm going to get to that came across the CTI desk this week here at Deep Seas would be Evil Proxy, which is a phishing as a service cyber criminal group that sells the ability to send out spear phishing emails and can also be used for access sellers as well as other cyber criminals like ransomware operations. Recent reporting shows that Evil Proxy is now targeting a lot of VIPs and executives at different organizations, and it would appear that their new TTPs and implant features allow them the ability to get around certain multi-factor authentication tokens. Obviously, we know that cyber criminals have always tried to find ways to get around multi-factor authentication because that was one of the surest ways to take care of any sort of illicit access that might have come from something like a spear phishing email or a malicious document that may have come across. But the idea that these organizations are going to be focusing on things like being able to get around multi-factor authentication, as well as some of the other tactics that we've seen from other cyber criminal groups, like being able to shut down antivirus and other things of this nature, are things that we always want to keep a really close eye on. Specifically, the targeted campaign of looking at VIPs may be an effort to gain immediate access or gain insight access into something that would be sensitive. What this suggests is, being able to get into the email of an executive would likely open up that access to a lot of confidential information that you can then extort with the company, similar to what we saw with Clop's extortion of several organizations when they compromised the MOVEit data transfer software. This type of activity we've known is going to be a focus of cyber criminals, and we're merely seeing an increase of that and the different methods that criminals are going to use to be able to conduct these types of operations. Additionally, I want to point out a lot of the reporting that we're seeing in regards to China. Recently, there have been several different reports regarding Chinese threat actors. One of the main ones seen by a lot of people would be Microsoft's report on what they call Storm 0558, which is a Chinese-affiliated nation-state actor that they saw compromise several different Microsoft 365 email accounts, to include ones at the U.S. Department of State, as well as the United States Department of Commerce. There have been a lot of questions about the extent that this threat actor was able to compromise Microsoft systems, due to the fact that this threat actor was able to compromise a Microsoft key and then create and generate their own access tokens. According to Microsoft, they have informed anyone that was affected by any of this activity, but the scale of the activity with being able to form your own tokens could expand far beyond something like Outlook email, which was what was compromised in this situation. In addition to that reporting, we also have seen a lot of reporting coming out about the United States government looking through different ICS SCADA systems and critical infrastructure for Chinese malware. And this is coming on the back from in May, as we spoke about on this program, about Volt Typhoon. So there's a lot of focus when it comes to Chinese threat activity, and this likely sits around some of the tensions that we're seeing, increased tensions when it comes to China and Taiwan, recent payments that were made by the United States government. There was, I believe it was $35 million in military aid that was just sent by the United States government to Taiwan. And there's also been some naval exercises that have occurred between Russia and China that got extremely close to the United States, particularly the Aleutian Islands out in Alaska. So a lot of these increased tensions go right along with the assessment that we have here at Deep Seas that we will see increased Chinese nation-state activity as more diplomatic efforts are made and more tension increases when it comes to the decision as to what the status is for Taiwan, while China starts ramping up what appears to be their want to declare Taiwan officially part of China, and as well as obviously the United States and European partners having to attempt to figure out diplomatic methods with which that does not occur or how they may respond. And this could be a very similar situation to what we saw between Russia and Ukraine. And we advise all of our clients at Deep Seas to develop a contingency plan if they have operations within China, to understand what effect that type of activity may have, what effect sanctions may have on your operations, and what effect may occur if China decides that they do not want companies affiliated with the United States government operating within their country. So that's some of the suggestions that we make. And as always, you're able to contact us directly, CTI@deepseas.com, if you have any further questions.